Happy 10th birthday, Wii!
Let's go! Yeah, man!
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, I'm so excited. I've actually been waiting to do this episode since we started.
Yes, me too.
Two Button Crew.
Yes, indeedy. It's the Wii's 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
And we are going to reminisce a little bit. It's
Yeah.
been 10 years since the Wii's launched.
It was November 19th, 2006.
Yes.
And that's tomorrow. That's Saturday. So.
Yes. November 19th, 2006?
No. But Saturday. But the November 19th is tomorrow.
Yes.
We're celebrating today and all tonight. We'll talk
Yes.
about that at the end of this episode. So, what we want to do is talk about how we got our Wiis. Because this console is so nostalgic to us because it came at a time when we were like just old enough to really start buying our own brand new stuff.
Yep.
And for some of you guys watching, it was the GameCube or the Super Nintendo. I don't know if anyone's nostalgic for the 64, but just kidding.
I think there are quite a few out there.
I know. So let's talk about it. So,
yeah, we're going to tell our stories.
It's interesting that we are going to each have separate stories because we weren't together, and I'm not sure how that happened because you lived in the state of Washington, I lived in the state of Idaho at the time, but we were always within 15 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I'm not quite sure the exact reasons. I think what happened was my dad knew with the Walmart, you guys were at Walmart, right?
Yeah.
The Walmart that you guys were at.
Washington. I went to your state.
Yeah, you went to my state and I went to your state. The Walmart that you guys were waiting at, the way you were facing was like with the wind. So the wind was, no, he literally said this to me. And I think there were other reasons too. I think I did wait less than you did. I think it was like a difference of 7 hours or so.
Yeah. He didn't want you to suffer the northern exposure.
The northern exposure. And I'm actually a little bit glad about that.
Okay.
And I don't have any regrets. I would have liked to have shared this experience with you. But I think it was the time you guys were out there longer.
Yeah.
And also, I waited with another friend. And we were in a lot nicer conditions, to be honest.
Okay,
so I think that was part of the reasoning. But I remember my dad saying something about like the way that the building was facing was going to be colder.
Oh my word!
And boy, was it cold.
Okay, but I'll have some good news for you on the temperature.
Yes.
So I guess I'll go first.
Yes, go.
So me and Matt and Jason, we were all together in our group, and we were the first group in line for the Wii. We lined up 25 hours ahead of launch.
Yes.
It was, 11 o'clock, November 17th. So here's a picture. This is 12-year-old Scotty.
Yes, in the middle.
I'm tiny. That's Matt on my right.
Guru.
Or on my left. On the right of the picture is Matt, and on the left of the picture, that's not Jason. Don't worry.
I was about to say that Jason looks a lot different than I remember him.
That was a stranger. Yeah, Jason's even farther to the right. Jason was officially the first in line.
And if you've been a member of the crew and have been following us a little while, we've talked a little bit about Jason before.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's off to the other side of the picture. He was the official first person in line, right?
Yep.
He was official number one.
Yep. But it was great because when we finally got to the checkout, there were multiple checker outers.
Right.
So I was still one of the first. You can see there, maybe I've got a book by my foot that is an Alex Rider book. I was reading that. We had plenty of time left over. I remember those shoes. It was like size 8 shoes before my feet
exploded.
Yeah.
I still wear size 9s.
Yeah, this was cold, guys. We were waiting outside in November, and we live in the Northwest.
Yes.
So, snow is completely on the table as far as considerations for the weather. I don't think we got any. We definitely woke up with frost all over our sleeping bags. You can see I'm wearing a sweatshirt with a jacket on top. I had a lot of layers. So
lucky.
One more thing to point out of this picture is that heater. So that lady brought with her a propane heater and put it in front of us. So you can tell me your northern exposure nonsense if you want. True. But this lady came and thawed us out when we were ice cubes. And she was the second group in line. And then they started pouring in. So I was 12 years old. I I can't believe my parents let me do this. Of course, having Matt, who was older,
That's
there with
true.
us really helped.
Guru. We should call him Guru.
Okay, yes, out of respect.
Yes.
For his memory.
For his memory, as if he's dead.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
I had $500 strapped around myself, like a money belt.
You didn't like duct tape it to you?
No. Sitting outside
I'll pay for this.
of Walmart. I was 12 years old, and my parents, I saved all that up, but I can't believe that they let me do this. I'm amazed.
Now, and I'll get to my story later, but my dad actually held the money until later in the day when he, at 10 o'clock, and he came and brought the money and stayed with me the rest of the time.
First of all, that's really smart. Second of all, your dad cared about you way more. Taking into account the weather and, the chances of you getting beaten up.
Yeah, that's true.
So this was just after the PS3, days after the PS3 came out, and there was all that news going on, shootings were happening, muggings were happening, because these were $600 pieces of equipment.
Hardware, yeah.
And the stores learned from that experience. So they had some extra security measures. They checked on us every once in a while, but mainly after we got the console, they escorted us out with buff, beefy security people.
That's nice.
So, but what was annoying about it being just after the PS3 was everybody that drove by.
Oh,
you remember what they'd ask, Simeon?
You guys in line for the PS3? No!
The
My goodness.
Wii!
Yeah, we're in line for the Wii. And I think it's funny, tacking onto that, is where we were waiting in line.
Yeah.
We had a little rope thing with those little orange things. And there was a sign that was there from the PS3.
Yeah.
But they had taken a marker, I don't know if it was the first guy in line, but they had crossed out PS3 and put Wii on it.
Yeah. They don't want any miscommunications happening.
No.
Get to November 19th, they're like, here's your PS3. So I had multiple layers of jackets and a sleeping bag, as you saw. We had to stay warm. We had to eat whatever food we brought with us. Or, sometimes you could ask the next people in line, be like, do you mind if I go in the store real quick, get some food? And they were all nice about it. Everybody understood. We were all in the same boat. Mm-hmm. So we were brought two pieces of news, the Walmart representative come out and address us. One of them was there are only 20 consoles. And by that time, we had about 35 people in line. So, and the people at the end of the line, they were kind of playing a game in a circle. And then the question came down to who were the first 20 people. So people were pressing themselves back up against the wall. People were getting shoved, and soon there's this line of people standing in the line and people facing them that had just been pushed out, and they're very upset. A feud broke out. The second piece of news was there are only 3 extra Wii remotes. So
that is
20
such
consoles,
bad planning.
but 3 extra Wii remotes. So number 7 in line came up to us in the front, and he begged. He was like, I have a son at home I want to play with. Please leave me 1 extra Wii remote. So I bought all of them except for 1. And yeah, by the time that I got my Wii, I had been in line for 25 hours.
Wow. That is absolutely insane. Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, mine was a little bit shorter away. It was still 18 hours.
Yeah.
I was 5th in line. One guy, the first guy in line, was he was the first in line for the Wii, but at that point they were still having the line for the PS3. Yeah. So he was technically last in line for the PS3. Oh. And what his thinking was, if I'm here for the PS3, they have enough. Buy the PS3, resell it, have enough money for the Wii, plus some more. Yeah. So but they didn't have enough. But he was first in line. He'd been there 3 days by the time it was all over. So there was him and his brother. Mm-hmm. His name was Christian, I remember that. And then there was Ninja. Yes. Ninja was really cool. He was number 2 in line. Then
trench coat wearer.
Yeah, he wore a trench coat and had a ponytail, and he was basically a ninja. Okay. Third people in line was this emo couple. They stayed inside their little tent that they had set up. Yes. And then fourth in line in front of me was this kid named Jacob. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of annoying, but he was younger than I was. So I was probably annoying, and he was just a little bit more annoying because he was younger than I was. Yeah. And then there's myself and then my friend John. And we were the only ones for the longest time. The 7th person came at 3 p.m. that day. So we'd already been there for like 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a colony as opposed to a line.
Right.
Like we would just like walk into the store and then walk back out.
You play some Guitar Hero.
Played some Guitar Hero.
Man.
Absolutely. At one time I went into the store and a guy was like talking to somebody inside, like just inside the store, and said, "Yeah, there's these bucket heads like standing outside in a line." He literally said that, bucket heads. He called us bucket heads, and I literally looked over and I'm like, "I'm a bucket head," and he looks over at me like, and he had like this blank expression on his face. And,
oh my goodness.
And another thing, I don't know.
That chump probably asked for a Wii for Christmas that
Probably.
year.
And that was another thing is, I don't know if you experienced this, but we experienced this. You know, the PS3 was a big deal.
We experienced this, or we experienced? No, I'm just kidding. Dumb Wii joke.
Yeah, it was a terrible Wii joke. But when you said we were waiting in line for the Wii, did people know what that was?
No, not really. I mean, everybody knew what it was like the day after.
Oh yeah, like by the time Christmas hit, everybody knew what it was.
Yes.
Everybody was looking for it. But at that time, people were like, "What is the Wii?"
That's when the expression "everyone and their grandmother" is actually true.
Yes. Okay, so once time started ticking and more people started coming, we actually knew, even from the beginning, how many Wiis there were going to be.
Good.
I can't remember if it was 20 or 25 or somewhere in between. For some reason, the number 21 sticks out to me, but I don't know if that's what it was.
Well, your dad had you go to the Post Falls one?
Yes.
Because there's a higher chance of you getting a Wii, because there were 21 as opposed to 20.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Great.
I'm sure that was the reason.
He's a good father.
Okay, now that's a little sacrilegious. So it started filling out, later in the night it got, and once it hit like 10 or something, or I can't remember, it was 9 or 10, we got the maximum number of people and we told them, like, we already have, all the Wiis are sold basically, so don't bother.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh man, should have come here at 5. I literally could have come at like 3 in the afternoon and still been in the same place.
But man, it's about the experience.
It is the Wii experience.
Yes.
But a little bit later in the night, the 8th guy in line, he had like an RV, or somebody he knew had an RV, and so he set up his RV on the other side of the parking lot and ran an extension cord out with a TV and a GameCube, and we played Melee in line. Owning each other, getting ready for Brawl that was not a launch title, but we were excited.
It's a really good way to send off the GameCube.
It really was. Yeah. And at around 11 o'clock, it was really cool. We got to see somebody dressed in complete Link garb.
Yes.
Complete with their sword drawn, running across the parking lot.
Yeah.
They just ran from one end of the parking lot to the other, out of sight. I have no idea who they were or what happened to them.
He didn't change out of his Halloween costume.
I guess not. But he was hype and we were all excited. We were all cheering. Yeah!
That's so awesome.
And then we got our Wiis and we headed back to our homes.
Yeah.
And you actually got to play your Wii when you got home.
But your loving father told you to go to sleep.
Yes.
And he stayed up and played your Wii.
No, he didn't. Actually, you were the one who unpacked my Wii the next day.
Is that so?
Yes.
Oh, because I was like, I know how to do this.
Yeah, I'm a professional by now.
First, you slide out the box that says 1.
Yeah.
The box that says 2.
I've already done this 5 times to my own, so... No, I didn't get to play it until late the next afternoon.
Yeah.
So it was torturous for me, but I got it and I played it and I loved it.
Yeah, we had an old website called Game & Watch where it was our first attempt at being in gaming journalism.
It's so bad.
I remember one of the things that I wrote about the experience was that I loved it so much and I would do it all over again. I would do the whole 25 hours that I waited over again. And we loved to celebrate Wii Day, November 19th, and often Nintendo would put out a game, so sometimes we'd celebrate by waiting in line for Link's crossbow training, the only people buying it.
Yeah, waiting in line at 9 a.m.
Right. Or sometimes we would just go sit somewhere for an hour or two to celebrate.
That's true.
So we've got a huge celebration and continuing with our ongoing tradition, and it's starting tonight.
Yes. 5 o'clock tonight.
That's if you're Pacific time.
Yes.
You can check our website for the entire game schedule broken out to some different time zones.
Absolutely. Whatever time zone you are, tune in and watch us. If you just can pop it in for a few minutes here or there, or if you want to marathon the whole thing with us. 24 hours
Keep
straight.
us company. Keep us awake.
Yes.
We'll tell you guys all kinds of fun stories.
Oh, yes.
And you can watch us play the best, the worst, the funniest Wii games. And can't wait to see you there. So thanks for your support as always, and thanks for being part of the crew.
See you next time. Signing out.